You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Sports and entertainment figures, along with more than 100 other black male leaders, sent an open letter to Joe Biden expressing disgust at the way black women have been unfairly criticized and scrutinized during his vetting process to pick his running mate. He is going to announce the VP pick this week. The letter says, as someone who has said throughout the campaign that VP Joe Biden needs to choose a black woman VP, the urgency for that pick has gone from something that should happen to something that has to happen. It disgusts us that black women are not just being vetted in this VP process, but unfairly criticized and scrutinized. Was Joe Biden ever labeled too ambitious because he ran for president 3 times? Should President Obama not have made him the VP because he had to worry about his loyalty when he clearly had ambition to be president himself? Why does Senator Kamala Harris have to show remorse for questioning Biden's previous stance on integrated busing during a Democratic primary debate? Have Democratic Party leaders, allies, or donors ever required Joe Biden to show remorse for the 1986 or 1988 anti-drug abuse bills, which established mandatory minimum sentencing, and subsequently crack cocaine sentencing disparities, and by its own admission, led to mass incarceration? What about the 1994 crime bill? Let's be clear about the kind of remorse and reckoning that matters in 2020, when the black community is still suffering the consequences for these oppressive measures. So, black women are the only ones required to stay in their place and to show remorse for even questioning their own oppression. For too long, black women have been asked to do everything from rally the troops to risk their lives for the Democratic Party with no acknowledgement, no respect, no visibility, and certainly not enough support. More than 700 black women signed on to a letter demanding a black woman VP, and we black men stand in solidarity with them. Failing to select a black woman in 2020 means you will lose the election. We don't want to choose between the lesser of two evils, and we don't want to vote for the devil we know versus the devil we don't, because we are tired of voting for devils, period. Among those signing, Chris Paul, Sean Diddy Combs, Charlamagne the God, Omar Epps, and a number of others. What do you make of this letter, Avis? Clearly, the pressure is on Joe Biden. He has drawn this thing out. Folks are getting antsy. They are not happy when reports surface about former Senator Chris Dodd, his comments about Kamala Harris. Now they're having to deal with it.
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, I just want to say thank you to the brothers who came together to write and sign that letter. It is so affirming as a black woman to see such bold and public support of black women by black men. I just want to say that is beautiful to see. I'm so happy that they did that. But you're exactly right, and they were exactly right when they pointed out the blatant racism and sexism that was specifically thrown at black women, and particularly Senator Kamala Harris, with regard to this process. The way that the Biden campaign has carried this out, to be honest, they should be ashamed of themselves. They should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. All of the leaks that have gone out that have been so insulting and so disparaging, it is just no excuse for it. So, you know, I'm just disappointed and, quite frankly, angry that they have dragged the names of these women through the mud, that they have tried to insult them, and that they have insulted them, and in a way that they just didn't have to. You know, I don't even understand why Chris Dodd is still involved with the process, quite frankly. You know, it is insulting that you have people that are in Biden's ear who apparently hold these racist and sexist stereotypes of black women. I have news for him. We are not the help. We actually have leadership of potential and ability. And if Biden wants to win in November, he needs to choose a black woman as his vice presidential candidate.
Michael.
As you know, as a Biden surrogate, and I agree with most of the things that the good doctor has to say on many of the times we're on your show, Roland. I don't know if I agree completely about being disappointed, disgusted. We don't know where those leaks came from. First of all, they're terrible, bad. I do believe if he also should select an African-American woman, that would make the absolute, forget politically, it's the right thing to do. smartest people ready to be president, because that's really what the role of vice president is, who's ready to be president. And all the women that have been lined up as candidates, potential candidates, to me, would be a better president clearly than 45. So I'm proud, frankly, at what the campaign has done. No campaign in the history of America has done what the Biden campaign has done about laying out women of color to a chance to be vice president of the United States. So I think we should also give credit where credit is due. Has it been a perfect process? No. Could they have done better? Yes. Could they have made the decision quicker? Of course. But I think they're walking down the road. And keep in mind, when the vice president started talking about what he was going to do on the Supreme Court, he clearly made sure it was going to be an African-American woman. Now he's talking about probably going to select an African-American woman for vice president. I agree with the doctor. Things could have been done better. But frankly, this is historical, what Joe Biden is doing, both what he's going to do on the Supreme Court and what he's going to do as his vice president.
But Lenny, here's the deal.
The process have been better, yes.
Lenny, I've said for months, Biden ain't got a choice. He has no choice because here's the deal. Black folks saved his candidacy. Without South Carolina, Biden is D-O-A.
Get the nomination.
His political career is dead. And here's the deal. One of the biggest criticisms that black people have had about Democrats is that they want us to be political sharecroppers. They want us to deliver the vote, but they don't want to spend money on black consultants, on black pollsters, on black campaign managers, don't want to spend the money on black media, don't want to spend the money on boots on the ground when it comes to black get out the vote efforts. And now it's time for significant positions, then don't get rewarded. Oh, sure, you got a black president, but what black people are saying is, hey, Joe, without us, player, you ain't even standing right now. It'll be somebody else who is a nominee. And so if he does not pick a sister, Lenny, I'm telling you, he will unleash a level of criticism that he does not want to deal with right now in August with him showing up in key polls. And look, the Biden campaign could be pleased that he's peeling off these white suburban voters and these white older voters and these independents. But I'm telling you right now, I was in a meeting with Reince Priebus at the Republican National Committee in 2016 when they were meeting with the folks at TV One. Tara Walls says in the meeting, there is no group that hates us more than the Republican Party. And they can ill afford to piss off even a fraction of black women going into November.
Well, as the notable exception on this panel, I'm going to remind everybody that the former vice president just went on in the media and said that, unlike, African Americans that are not very diverse, Latinos are diverse. He has a tendency to step in it all the time, and he tried to pander to Latinos by throwing the African American voter once again underneath the bus. And to continue to go down this path, he has a bad track record over decades of offending different minority groups. And I'll be honest with you, one of the things that I think makes people nervous, because this letter came out today after the comment from over the weekend and after Gretchen Whitmer's name got thrown right back into the news cycle in regards to a possible VP selection. You really want to piss off black women? Let Gretchen Whitmer end up being the VP selection. That's how you have black women who vote 97 to 98% of the time with the Democratic Party. That's how you get them to stay home. And that's how you get 50,000 extra votes in Pennsylvania, 50,000 extra votes in Michigan if you're Donald Trump. People forget all you needed were normal numbers, not necessarily the Obama numbers, but just basically normal numbers, and you don't have Donald Trump as president. And Joe Biden's running this grist once again with his poor history on some of these issues, coupled with stretching this out, coupled with continued recent history of gaffes when it comes to issues of race. The Charlemagne the God interview wasn't even 6 weeks ago. So you have these things lining up back to back to back to back, and people are sick and tired of being taken for granted. Yes, they don't want to vote for Trump per se, But they don't want to continue this path of, okay, Democrats are going to take us for granted once again, and when it's time to do the things that we need for our communities, they take a step back. I remember running 4 years ago, there was a memo out the Democratic congressional candidates saying, do not get too close to the Black Lives Matter movement. Do not even say Black Lives Matter because it might be used against you and you might have to promise too much legislatively should you win. But the very first thing I told my opponent in our debate, I can say Black Lives Matter. Why can't you as a 11-term white congressman? You do not want to have that image going into 2020 and then pick the wrong person or continue to play this game. Biden does not want that because he does not know how to think on his feet in regard to these issues, and that would just be another gaffe after another gaffe that would keep people at home in November.
It's going to come down. I'm trying to tell y'all, it will be absolutely nuts if he doesn't pick a black woman. That's some smoke he does not want. He does not want it. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.